This call may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance or training purposes.
This call may be recorded.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to This Call May Be Recorded. I'm your host, Zach Garside. This is episode 63 of the show where we listen to recorded customer service phone calls and coach them up. Today's rant on the state of customer service comes down to one question, and that question is, why do people buy? It's an interesting question, but it's also the most important question. It's way more important than how do I sell? How do I sell is a selfish question. It's focused on what you want to accomplish. Why do customers buy gets to the heart of what they want. And there are 4 reasons that customers buy. It really comes down to 4 things. Number 1, which we've talked about on this show before, is certainty. If a customer feels certainty that you can help them solve their problem, they're in. Number 2 is they believe in your product. Number 3 is they believe in themselves, that they can be successful with your product or service. And the 4th is that they believe they can be successful despite circumstances in their life that might ordinarily prevent them from being successful. So let me go through each of these with you. If a customer ever gives you an objection, says they need to think about it, stalls, pushes back, makes you wait, delays, it's because they don't believe you. 100% of the time, it is because they do not believe you. If they did, why would they not buy? There is no reason. If the customer has a problem you can solve, believes in your product, believes that, yeah, this works for me personally, and that I can be successful despite all the things going on in my crazy life, then I'm in. I'm going to buy. I feel certain that those elements are all there. I will move forward. If they push back, it's because they do not believe you. It sounds harsh, but it's not harsh, because we know that customers sometimes make poor choices and they go back and they regret them. But let me break it down for you like this. Number 1, belief in the product. Do I feel certain that your particular company, your particular service can solve my problem for me? Number 2, do I believe that I can be successful with it personally? There's a lot of customers, let's say, for example, if you're purchasing a healthy snack alternative, the reason a customer would not purchase based on an internal belief is they might say, yeah, I believe in your product. I think your product works, that it's good, but I don't believe I have the self-control to not binge on it anyway, because even if it's healthy, I know if I ate too much, it's not good for me. So there's an internal belief. When we sell people CSR training, oftentimes they don't believe that they have the discipline to stick with a program, that their team will implement the things that they learn. That's harsh, but again, it's true. And then finally, there's the external belief factor, which is there are circumstances surrounding me that I believe will hold me back from being successful. The most common, my spouse or my business partner. I don't believe that my spouse will let me do this, or I don't have enough money to do this, or the systems and circumstances surrounding me are going to hold me back from being successful. So if you can get customers to believe, number 1, that you have the right product, that you're capable, that your service is high quality, that's 1/3 of the equation. The second third is you, Mr. Jones, you can pay for this. You can be successful with this, despite how old your system is, despite how old your home is, despite how many times problems come up. This can work for you personally. And then finally, number 3, it will work despite the fact that you don't think you have enough money because we've got a financing option available, or despite the fact that you think your spouse will say no, because we want to have both people present in the home when we present the options to you so that you're on the same page. We can even book the appointment for you, and you can call back and cancel or reschedule, as we like to say to the customer, if something comes up and you're not in agreement with your spouse or business partner or whomever. There are all kinds of ways you can address these 3 core reasons, but it really comes down to, do they believe in your product? Do they believe in themselves? Do they believe in their surroundings? allowing them to be successful with your product or service. If they say no, it's because one of, if not all of those three things are out of balance. And that is your rant for today. Welcome back, everybody, to This Call May Be Recorded. In the comment section, let me know where you're tuning in from. Tasha, welcome back.
Hello, how are you? Excited to be here.
Peachy, happy to have you again.
Yeah,
Let's
absolutely.
move the layout around. Oh, no, I like that better. I like that layout better. Tasha, how are you?
I'm good. I'm great. It's Friday, I'm excited. It's been a fun week. It was funny. I was thinking about a customer service experience that I could bring to this call. And I actually had experience with, so this week I had kind of in my personal life, I had to do a sleep apnea test. And I went and I had this whole experience with taking it in. And I don't know if you're familiar with it, but you have to set up the whole thing on your body when you sleep to get it tested. And on the little thing, like the little battery thing, they have instructions and it says, put it on, don't worry, it's on, like don't press any buttons or anything. So I'm like, all right, and it's on, nothing happens. And so naturally, I'm like, are we sure it's on? And then I click it and it says, time recorded 1 minute. So it recorded 1 minute. It said time complete. It totally messed up. I called in to be like, hey, you know what? This happened, that happened. The instructions weren't very clear on the directions of it because anyway, that's beside the point. And his first thing out of his mouth was, we need your thing back. We've canceled so many other customers because we haven't had your sleep study back. And I was like, okay, trying to tell him it wasn't working, all these things. And he was like, you need to bring it back, kind of just dismissing me totally.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, what an interesting experience. So I called back the next day and I told the lady about it. And she was like, oh my gosh, oh man, those instructions, they're so hard to understand. Like, we need to figure this out. Bring it in. We'll get it taken care of and we'll get you a new one. I'm going to get you on the schedule. Do. And I was like sitting here thinking, like, does Power Selling Pros coach this doctor's office? It was so amazing. And I was like, I drove the test in. I know this is kind of beside the point of home service, but I drove the test in and I'm like, this is it. This is the difference. The issue was the same. I said the same issue to both different people. I walked in face to face and there's two people there. And it was like just the most interesting experience because it's like the way that they chose to receive my information. It didn't affect them at all. Not at all. But the one person chose to receive it as, you are making my life harder by having an issue. Can we not do this? This is like, you're literally making my life harder. And the other lady, even though I'm also making her life harder, said, oh my gosh, that must have been so frustrating at night, right before bed, having all this happen and you have to wear the sleep study and shoot, let's get this taken care of. And I was just like, man, that is such a great example and a learning experience for me because it was outside of my work, and I just challenge people on this call to think about when in your life, when you take yourself outside of work, outside of working with your customers, when can you see the importance of doing these things, validating, reassuring, because it's in so many situations around our life. And it was cool to kind of have that happen to me and think, man, this is it right here, a real life experience of that. But anyway, That's my little rant because I was like, wow, this is so crazy just to see that, it's in every aspect of life. It's not just when we're on the phones working. It's a real thing. We're humans. So anyway, that's my little rant, but it was a kind of a cool experience this week for me.
Yeah, it's so crazy to be on the customer side when you have the knowledge.
Yes. That's it. That's it completely. Because I'm on this side and I was on the customer side and just it helps this side a lot more, when you kind of flip the script on that. It's interesting. But my week's been great. I'm just living life. So it's good.
Yeah, crazy. I told you last week about the renting experience, right?
Yeah.
Going and trying to find a place to rent.
Right.
And this week it was school registration.
Oh dear.
So like
Oh
I've,
dear.
I've officially decided the worst customer experience, the worst customer experience in the known world, worse than calling your telecom provider,
I love it.
worse than anything else I can possibly imagine
Yeah.
is moving with kids.
Oh. Yeah.
That I cannot think
I bet.
a more stressful, more difficult, challenging, complicated process.
Yeah.
And he's like, Zach, we're in the same
We're
boat.
in the same boat. Amen.
I cannot think of anything that is a worse customer experience, top to bottom. But you make a great point about the when people act like you're getting in the way,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you're causing them problems.
Yeah.
Because it's just so. I'm gonna say it. It's easy to not be a jerk.
Right. You think you do think you would
It's
This is
easy to like. I'll tell you a story. So there was a furniture company up here in Cache Valley, Utah, that we purchased some bed sheets from like 2.5 years ago. So we ordered these really nice bed sheets. It was during the pandemic when supply chain was all screwed up. And we go in and we order. They're like, yeah, it'll be 2 or 3 weeks before they get here. We're like, okay, great. So we go back in 2 or 3 weeks and they act like they have no idea what we're talking about. And we go, yeah, the order is under the name of Melissa. Can you please pull it up? We should be there. And they go, oh yeah, here it is. That's great. And I'm like, all right. So any update? Like, are they in? Are they coming? Oh no, it's going to be at least another month.
Oh yikes.
And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, that's bad news. Right? But I understand that bad news isn't always your fault. Right? Sometimes there are things out of your control. But wow, you sure seem pissed to be answering this question right now. Like the whole thing was, how dare you ask? Like,
Yeah.
we'll give it to you when we get it to you,
Right. Right.
I'm like,
Oh.
well, I don't want to work with you anymore. Like, I don't want to buy from you.
Yeah.
Plus, we found something we could get sooner, so we just canceled the order. I was like, can you just cancel the order for us? And he goes, yeah, that'll be easier for us anyway.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, you're welcome, I guess.
Wow.
We cancel our order,
Oh dear.
or we get our money back, right? But I was like,
Yeah.
Again, I mentioned last time that like there's all this technology out there, technology companies that we're like prioritizing and optimizing the customer
Right.
experience for. But the stuff that's actually a need every day, like bedding, landscaping, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, the stuff that we literally need for our survival, our groceries,
Yes.
like we just don't even give a rat's about the
I
customer
know.
experience. Like we're trying to make it as bad as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ugh.
But if your company
Right.
wakes up and says, you know what, we're going to be extraordinary at customer service, you have an immediate advantage over everyone.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's kind of funny. So I had a situation last night that, because I don't know if this happens to you, or anyone else on this call that has experienced it partially imposed, when you come to your real life and you're kind of like, oh my gosh, okay, so that actually this principle applies to real life, right?
You start to
And
see
so-
it everywhere. You're like,
Yes. And last night, my friend was making me food and she goes, okay, I need you to try something. You're probably going to hate it. And I was like, I can't wait to try it. Like, I'm so excited to try this thing I'm going to hate,
yeah,
And I looked at her and I was like, literally, can we build some value here? And she's like, what? And I'm like, oh gosh, like here I am, like bringing work into my real life. And I was like, imagine if you said, Tasha, there's this thing I want you to try. It's so good. I love it. I like concocted all these things up. And oh my gosh, even thinking about it, my mouth is literally drooling and I can't wait for you to try it. Do you want to try it? I would have been like, it's not here soon enough. Right.
Yeah.
But instead, she's like, okay, I created this thing. You're probably going to hate it. Do you want to try it? And I'm all, no, I don't want to try it. The thing that I'm going to hate, but it's like, that is how we can move through life, is we can be excited about something, or we can realize that we're talking to a human being. And when we want them to book a call, we want them to get on the Advantage plan, we want them to do this or that. It's like, are we saying in a way of like, it is going to be like $100, it's going to be $99 to have us out. And then in our head, are we thinking they probably aren't going to pay this, or I've coached CSRs that are like, well, I would never pay that. And it's like, yeah. And that's why they don't want it, because when you deliver it, you're already practically saying they're going to say no in the delivery, and it's more than just building value. It's like honestly approaching it with, this is awesome. I can't wait to tell you about this. Like our Advantage plan, man, this is amazing. This is going to help you not have to have these kind of experiences in the future. Can I tell you about it? And they're like, yeah, let's tell me about it, And it's just, anyway, that experience last night just kind of, again, pinged me to think, okay, it really is about just communicating the way that you would communicate with like someone a friend, someone that you want to follow you and believe in the same things, how would you communicate that rather than, yeah, this new unit's going to be about 30 grand, but you want it? It's like, oh my gosh. So
just enthusiasm.
yes. And it's like,
believe that what you're selling is the right thing.
Yeah, truly believe it, and it's just, there's such a difference in the delivery. So
we're going to run the risk of like not playing any phone calls.
Seriously, we are. Let's do it.
Conversation's good. But one last story you just reminded me of was on that, like enthusiasm really is enthusiasm for the product, for the service, belief that it is the best thing for the customer. It really is the ultimate selling mechanism.
Oh yeah.
Like you can sell anything with that with the proper level of enthusiasm. I remember going to some of my neighbors and I several years ago. We were like, hey, let's go to Disneyland together. We each had one kid, so we were like, all right, sweet. So we took our kids together, our two families.
What a great attitude. We each had one kid. Let's go to Disneyland.
We each had one kid. We were broke. We were college students. We had no money. It was like, yeah, I got enough money to make a trip to Disneyland. Let's swing it, So we stayed in a hotel room together. But I grew up in that area, right? So I was like, oh, you guys, we got to try this restaurant that I went to as a kid. It's amazing. Best sandwiches in the freaking world. You guys are going to absolutely love it. I was just super excited, super giddy. So by nature of my enthusiasm, everybody else in the group was like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Zach's super excited about it,
Yeah.
And this place was disgusting. They like all of their sandwiches, they just like drenched in marinara sauce.
Oh dear.
Soggy and gross. I sat there, I'm like, it's a real bummer that the sandwiches are so gross. But I'll tell you what, the proper level of enthusiasm, you can sell literally anything.
Oh my God.
An excited attitude to get everybody to go buy some sandwiches.
Yeah.
If you channel that's a good service, you're unstoppable.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, that's so funny. You really sold the Zach, and now we're disappointed.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I love it. That's funny. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's see here. Let me present this. Okay, here's call number 1.
Oh.
Rochelle, how can I help you?
Yes, my name is Nancy, and I have a leak in the main water line coming into my house, and my insurance company had leak detection, determine where the issue was. I need to have a plumbing company take a look and determine what needs to be done to repair this or replace the water line. And I don't know whether it would be best to replace the whole line or try to do a repair. Wanted to find out, do your people replace main lines without digging the yard? Are you able to pull that line through the new line?
Yeah, we do the trenchless technology. Is that what you're talking about,
yes,
Nancy?
Yes.
Yep, we sure can do that.
Okay. Just an appointment to have someone come take a look at my issue here.
Okay, we can definitely help out with that. Let me get you pulled up here, Nancy. So is it through that repair would be covered?
It's not. My insurance and I have assurance with them.
Okay.
So it's good.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, and looks like your phone number pulled up an account for.
Correct.
Is that?
What do you think so far?
Tell you this.
Yeah, let's stop there. I was trying to get through the first 5. Okay. Let me stop sharing here. Okay, so mixed feelings. I think that it's going really good. I love that. So these kind of calls are good in my opinion when the customer kind of gives you all the juice of it. Right? She lays it out
Mm,
perfectly to give us an opportunity to fully wow her. Like that
yeah.
that when you're a customer like that and they give you all of it, it's like take that and wrap it up in a gift and let her know that you hear her, you validate her, you're gonna reassure her. I think she's doing good so far at you know, making sure that the customer feels validated. I think we could still get more from it. She's named some different hurdles and things that she's clearly worried, and I think we could still have a little bit of reassurance on that.
Yeah.
I think it's a good call so far. Tell me your thoughts.
So there's 4 words that I like to say on this show. I need somebody in the audience to help me out and tell me what those 4 words are. Anybody know? They start with the word more. I'm not going to say it. I need somebody in the audience to say it. My standards are very high. Sometimes people roll my eyes when I say these words, but nobody. The comments are awfully quiet today.
I know. Where is everyone?
I've got 23 people live right now, and nobody in the 23. I'll type it. There we go, Javier. You got it.
There you go.
You got to be more than a transaction. Again, my standards are high. This call was a transaction, or is, I should say. What's crazy is it's a minute in. What I'm dying to know is this is an 11.5-minute phone call. I'm dying to
Yes.
know what the other 10.5 minutes are. But it's got to be more than a transaction. That was purely transactional, though. So yeah, the CSR did a decent job, validating, saying, yeah, of course, we definitely provide that. But I want to know, how's this affecting the customer's life? How did this happen? What's going on? Tell me more.
Yeah.
Really engage in conversation. I think it was last time, right, last time did I talk about conversation being a creative act? Or no, that was Office Heroes that I talked about that on.
Oh, okay.
I encourage people to look at conversation as an act of creativity. It's not like when we think of things that are creative, we think like paintings, maybe a novel. When your little kid draws a picture of, something horrifying and tragic, like, where did you learn that from, son? Like, we think of those things as acts of creativity. But in reality, conversation is also an act of creativity. Like, you can create something beautiful and memorable, and it will make the customer want to come back and buy from you again with conversation. So I'm looking for that. Like, that's what I want. If I'm going to hire great CSRs, I want CSRs who will engage in conversation with the customer because it's memorable, it's unforgettable, literally. And it just makes customers want to come back and buy from you again.
Totally. And when your customer does, like this customer, I feel like on a silver platter invited, a connection. Like they did. She laid it out there, and I feel like it doesn't always happen. Sometimes the customers are a little bit harder to pull that out of there, and they want a transaction. Like our customers call in and they don't realize that they also want more than a transaction because they're just trying to get, they don't know what they don't know. I have a leak. What's going to happen? What do I need? And I feel like our job is to help them know how important being more than a transaction actually is. And some customers, they call in and they're just like, I need a transaction. How much do you charge? When can you be out here? And we have to pull that connection out of it. And some customers lay it out there for you, having this issue and it's really affecting this and that. And those are the low hanging fruit where we need to snatch up and blow it out of the water, and being present in the call and starting the call with, hey, I want to establish more of a connection than a transaction. That's going to help us tackle these calls and just wow the heck out of them, because they're already there. They need the wow factor. And she's telling that CSR that. So I agree.
You make a really good point too about how often, when you really pay attention to phone calls, you'll be surprised at how often the customer just lobs you a softball.
Totally.
Customers. Totally. Yeah. Customers are emotional. We're all emotional beings. We are driven by our feelings. Every decision we make is based on how we feel. So when a customer gets on the phone, they are constantly dropping, like tossing you little grand slam opportunities to build a connection with them. You know, when they say something like, we've had it for over a year, what you've got to do as a customer service person or salesperson is ask yourself, what do they mean? Like, what are they really trying to say? I'm trying to think of another way to describe it, but it's what's the meaning behind the words, right?
Oh yeah.
We've had it for more than a year, AKA, it shouldn't already be going out. This shouldn't have happened this quickly. Or my mother-in-law lives with us right now. What do they mean by that? Please, for the love, get over here now and make this problem go away. Like, you got to be always wondering what little like softball opportunities to hit a home run here on the customer experience is the customer giving me?
Yeah.
Because if you can catch on to those, that's how you create a wow experience, is by recognizing them and going, oh, okay, there's actually a lot of opportunities here for me to make the customer say, wow, they're giving them to me. I just have to pay attention to know what those opportunities are.
Yes. Like I think about it, like when we call, we're like up in the smoke, right, of this. And the fire is the real human emotion that we need to tap into. And as we ask these questions, as we get into it, we start moving down this ladder to actually they have emotional needs as human beings. They need to be validated. They need to be reassured. They need to be, you know, understood. And when those things are hit, then that takes it from a transaction to a connection and just does it all for you. You know what I mean? So awesome. Do we have time for one more? I know we don't want to listen to that 10-minute.
Yeah, let's do one more call. Let's just do 2 minutes of another call.
Yeah, let's do it. Here we go.
Can help you.
Yeah, I have a sink that's dripping, and I need someone to come out and fix it.
Okay. Have we been to your home before?
A long time ago, you all put in our tankless water heater.
Okay, so we're not plumbing. We do have a plumbing department, but we're not plumbing.
Uh-oh.
Okay, well, that was the number I was trying to call, but...
Okay. Yeah, we're not plumbing. We are heating and air.
Okay.
Ooh.
Can y'all do plumbing stuff?
We do plumbing.
Uh-oh.
No, get her to the plumbing person.
Guess I can have y'all come out and fix it.
Sure.
So you are plumbing.
Is it what kind of drip is it? Is it constant or intermittent?
It sounds like the CSR realized right there. Okay, yeah, there is something. I guess there is something I can do, right?
Oh man. Oh no. Shoot. You know, I'm with Jason. A huge ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. It's funny because you hear that and she's adamant. We are not plumbing. We're not. And she goes, yeah, we do plumbing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so you are plumbing. You are actually plumbing. And how you know, I listened to these calls, especially when I was coaching, and it was like the pain as you feel the defeat of the customer. Oh, well, I was trying to reach you guys because you're the ones who did it, who helped me, you know, and it's like, oh, the pain of then being told we're not them. And then saying, well, actually we are them, but you called not the right. It's just a mess, you know? Yeah. And it's like thinking outside of the specifics. Cause you think about a CSR's job, we're doing our day-to-day thing. We're trying to do this and that. And then we pick up the phone and now we need to be present with another human being. And it's like, you know, when we can separate the two and we can be present and we can think outside of our own day-to-day things, you know, I'm feeling like that CSR maybe could have said, oh yeah, we're definitely the company. Let me get to the right department. Yeah, we can absolutely help you out with that. We've definitely called the right place. And let's say they didn't, let's say they called the wrong company and you do plumbing. Let's jump on it and let's now be the right company. Let's now be the ones that are the problem solvers. You know, I mean, we have example calls, Zach, of our favorite call where the wrong number comes in and we book it anyway.
Yeah, I love that one.
It's amazing. And it's like, it's just being a step ahead, having that desire to really problem solve and want to help. Geez, what an opportunity opens up for you when you approach it that way.
Yeah, amen.
But
Well,
yeah,
Tasha,
ouch.
we're at the end of our time today. Any last words?
I guess today what I'm going to take away from this is to be more present in my situations and, feel through things instead of just trying to think through it. Feel through the connections that I make with people and try to, have my interactions be connections rather than transactions throughout my next week. So that's my challenge to you guys as well.
Yeah, pay attention to the meaning behind people's words. What are they really trying to tell you?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We'll be back next week for episode 64. Thank you so much.
See you guys. Thank you.